Fly Ride over here at his facility. We're gonna come visit, do a little shop tour for him. Let's see how he's doing. Fly Ride! Oh, Fly Ride! Fancy. I'll just wait up here. Yeah, I'll just wait up here. Okay. Oh, look at all this cool stuff. Sea lights. DTR lightning bolt. Fancy as fuck. Oh, I could totally get a t-shirt. So this is Jonathan. Say hi, Jonathan.
Hey, what's up?
So what do you do, bro?
So here I help Chris film videos and I don't know, just help him out whatever he needs.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what's Chris doing right now?
He's in the office. I think he's on the phone.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Nice setup you guys got going up in here.
It's not mine. That was all him.
Yeah.
I joined him after he had the setup.
That's cool. All right, Chris. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, how old are you now?
I'm 35.
35. Wow. How long have you been doing this for?
It started because I made a set of angel eyes back in the day. I looked on the internet and read this little tutorial of how to bend a curtain rod in a circle and stick LEDs in the bottom and make little notches in it and light it up, and it would become an angel eye, and that was in 2003.
Damn.
So I made my first set of rings when I was working on my my Hyundai Tiburon, doing an engine swap and changing it from automatic to manual.
Nice.
And it was like the car was apart for months. I had the headlights off the car. I saw this little tutorial. I did it. I lit them up and I was like, oh, that was so cool. I took some LEDs from AutoZone and I put them into a ring and it glows and like it looks like eyes. That was the coolest thing ever. And then I kind of refined that a little bit and it turned into a company. And people started asking me to make them rings for their headlights. And so that was actually prior to Fly Ride. So 03 was getting into custom lighting and I started Fly Ride in 2004.
And where did the name Fly Ride originate from?
We were, me and my girlfriend that I ended up marrying and having babies with, like,
Nice.
We were sitting out in front of her house, and I was like, what's a cool name? Like, I need a short name that's, like, has something to do with cars, maybe something about lights, I don't know. Like, it wasn't just supposed to be a lighting company. It was just supposed to be about cool car stuff. And so we started talking about names back and forth, and she came up with Fly Ride. And it was just shooting ideas back and forth. and I went and looked online, and Flyride.com was taken. And I was like, no,
Really?
that sucks. So I dropped the I, and I put a Y in there, and it was available, and I was like, 7 characters, that's pretty dope. Like, all right, let's do that. So Flyride was spelt that way, and honestly, if I could do it over again, I would have done the same exact thing, because if you type in something spelled the correct way, then honestly, you type it in the right way, my name still pops up.
Oh, yeah.
But like, if you type it in the wrong way, of course, I'm the only one that spells it with a Y. And so it was one of those things that I don't really advise anybody. Don't go spell your name all stupid and have a super long URL with weird characters and Z's instead of S's and all that. But I think in my case it worked out okay.
Like Lightworks.
Yeah, so many different Lightworks. All the German way and the other ways. So many.
Yeah, I know. That's cool, man. So from that, you started in '03, developed Flyride right during that process. What was your drive? I mean, what got you to really push forward?
I wanted Flyride to be a software company. I mean, it was so early that it was like there was no Shopify, there was nothing like that, there was no shopping carts, and so I was developing software and working with guys in Egypt and Pakistan and all these different countries where I had these guys. I'm super sick, by the way, just so you know. That's why I sound like I sound. So I'm working with all these guys that in India that were developing software for me so that we could have a make, model, year filter, so that we could just have like easy to find stuff on a website where you could purchase it. Like, dude, people don't get it. Like eBay, I was like one of the first guys on eBay. I was one of the first people on PayPal, like MySpace, like all of these things.
Yeah.
And you know, there was no Facebook at that point, like when I was just starting to really want to go crazy with Flyride. So originally what kept me going was like, I thought that I was going to make a ton of money selling this automotive software that shows people how to sell car parts and all that. And I kind of wanted to be like an online Walmart of car parts.
Yeah.
And like, that was ridiculous. It did not work out.
So that's a crazy change. So from being a software company to an actual automotive customization shop that focuses on media now.
Yeah. Well, it's gone through lots of changes. So
A lot of changes.
the amount of websites that I've had over the years is ridiculous.
I saw them.
Yeah.
I saw them all.
Yeah. So the first early ones, everything was based on like, one day I'm going to sell the software to all these people and make $10,000 or $20,000 a customer and blah blah blah. And like, I remember there was a shift that happened where people were saying like, why don't you use the free software to run your company? And I was like, if I run the free software, I can't sell the awesome software that I'm making that never finished. And it was tens of thousands of dollars of years and years of me like, I try to make money with Flyride and add new cool stuff to my software. And I literally didn't drop that goal until 2010.
Wow, it's pretty recent.
Yeah, so
Almost a
like
decade ago.
half of Flyride basically was me chasing down something that I had to let go. And not half, but a pretty good chunk of it. All my early years was me thinking that I was going to achieve something, and I just had to choose to pivot or just die, basically.
Yeah.
So that was.
So how did that feel?
I thought it was great. It was like dropping baggage. It was like certain things you realize as you're going on in business for so long that you're doing them and you're carrying on with them, not because you should be, but just because you're continuing what you've been doing. And like, that's a great way to kill your business. It's like not really looking at it and saying like, is this working? Is this what I should do? Or are there things that are working that I'm not focusing on because I'm dragging this dead weight behind me on something else? And sometimes you got to cut the dead weight. So I think I literally remember where I was at when I decided that I was going to stop even selling non-lighting related products. Like I was running Flyer, that was in 2012, and it was like, I can't sell intakes anymore. I can't sell exhausts or wheels or things like that anymore because it doesn't make me any money.
No.
And there's too many people that are better at doing that than I am, and I'm better at doing certain things that nobody else is good at. So like, why aren't I doubling and tripling down on my strengths instead of trying to be like a jack of all trades that nobody cares about. And that's when I got laser focused on just going back to lighting, which was my roots. So it kind of worked out cool.
Yeah.
So it was like I started with LEDs and doing stuff no one knew about, and then all of a sudden it was like, why am I talking to MagnaFlow right now and spending tons of time just to make $53? Like paying transaction fees on that and then not actually getting anywhere, and like
Only getting 40 out of it, or
yeah,
30.
right.
Dang,
So.
that's quite the evolution now. Okay, so from where you're at now, I mean, now that it's been how many, 15 years?
16, yeah.
16 years, yeah. I mean, where do you see everything going right now
It's
for yourself in the
yeah.
industry?
So specifically for Flyride, what's fun is that Flyride is kind of, it's just been my interpretation of like what I think is cool about cars,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's always been with lighting and all that, which is now it's literally branching off where like the lighting side of Flyride, and I think even just like the version of Flyride that's existed for the last, it's helped my family get by for the last, 6 years since I bought my house out here in Beaumont and all that. Lighting is now becoming a part of it that is going to go off on its own branch and almost cease to be Flyride, which is interesting. Flyride's now actually becoming much more of, like you brought up before, just media.
Yeah.
And it becomes much more about like
A household name.
yeah, well, it's like I know all these people that are doing amazing things in automotive, and those things don't have anything to do with lighting.
No.
But they're about cool cars, and Flyride's about cool cars and cool people that are into cool cars. So like, I think that makes so much sense. Like even like doing a podcast, it's like I have a lighting podcast and I have a Flyride podcast. I don't want to talk about lighting all day long in the Flyride podcast.
No.
I already do that on YouTube and the online courses and the other, the Lightspin podcast. So that branch that started to happen was when I was like, okay, I really want to do this online education thing and take lighting in a completely different direction than just like, hey guys, I'll build you cool headlights. Like I wanted it to be more than that. Like here, learn about things, help yourself, like benefit your family, like take my mistakes and failures and have that be something that actually helps you. And like, hey, you want a cool tip? Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I should be talking about that nonstop forever with this brand called Flyride. Like Flyride can actually be about cool cars and cool people doing cool stuff on cars.
Cool people. Yeah, it's all about the people at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
So, especially with YouTube, that's such a weird thing. Because of lighting, it's open doors, which is awesome. But just like I said earlier on with like having to kind of cut your dead weight with certain things, just because Flyride started off as like kind of a software thing doesn't mean that it couldn't be like completely merge into this whole lighting thing. And because it was a lighting thing doesn't mean that it can't merge into this whole media thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it literally is just me. Like people used to call me Flyride. That was my name when I worked the job for about a year and a half with the guys that I was partners with the guys at Vertical Doors.
Shop SFN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was those days. And everybody was like, "Hey, Flyride,"
Yeah, it's kind of like me. I'm go by El Stick, and that's all I'm known for now.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Well, thanks for informing me and then letting us know about how you started,
absolutely.
what you got going. So let's go ahead and just take a look at what you got going on.
Okay,
All
let's
right.
do it. Let's dive in. So this is the memory card that just showed up, which I was happy about because now I can film over there like I definitely need to do. I'm filming a walkthrough about how to do how to use a strobe controller so you can make things bounce left and right.
Nice.
And then I have nowhere to put all of my footage now after I film it all. And so I'm constantly buying hard drives. I save all my footage forever for some reason. And so I really needed this. So this basically is gonna allow me to continue working today because it's 8 terabytes of hard drive space to just shove all this custom lighting footage. So that is a much needed thing. That was $125. So
Not bad for 8 terabytes.
yep,
That's
I
fucking
know,
good.
man. I'm a frugal bastard. I don't like to spend money on anything I don't have to. I don't have any nice things, so I love when anybody tries to give me a hard time about like, hey, why don't you just do this to get money? Why don't you part out your car? I'm like, bro, part out my car? You mean like sell the engine? Like, it's a stock engine. I'm like, no one wants that engine.
Is it a door handle?
Yeah, right? You can sell the door, the fuel door. So, this is what I'm excited about. I will show you now. So I've got a very good buddy of mine named Jason Blair, and he sent me something. I was looking for that. So he sent me something for the WRX. I've never seen these things in person, so I'm truly excited about this little unboxing. And Jason is one of my guys that is very active in my community, and so he sends me cool stuff. I'll check it out. My man sent me some candy canes. Like, this is legit. Candy cane for the elite retrofitting community. We're in this. All right. This is, I'm sure you've seen this from our buddy. It's Circuit Demon. Oh, well, actually, this is something different.
Oh,
I
use
hear
that.
this stuff is amazing.
It is.
So he told me to start using this. I'm going to do that. Pumped on that. These are handmade things, completely inspired by Circuit Demon, Jeff Foster, making waves, setting standards, setting trends.
Oh.
And Jason made these guys by hand. So these are gills to be installed in the high beam section for the WRX lights. And these little guys on the side basically make it to where you can mount this thing, and then it'll be, I guess, like JB welded in place, or I got to follow the instructions that Jason set for me. But basically these things get polished out, and then they're going to be painted black, and basically they're gills, so it's an RGB gill for the high beam section.
That's badass. That's for the WR. Oh, that's for that one guy on your one YouTube video that was gonna pull the trigger.
Yeah, so he did it. So that was our invoice, and then what we're gonna do behind these things is put I think a profile prism ring. So Jason sent me those. So I got candy canes, I got angel eyes. That is what is going to back us up. Yep. So we got profile prism
70
rings.
mil.
So yeah, so this is going to be a full walkthrough as well that I'll be doing to kind of promote Sinister Retro Works, and yeah.
Never heard of her. I'm just kidding.
We've got those, and then there's this, and I didn't even check these out yet. So I believe these are going to be etched lenses for the projectors. Jason's going to send some of those as well. Look at that little baseball looking thing. This is why I don't work on my own cars.
Why?
I'm like, look how fun this is. Like, I'm opening up all this cool stuff that I didn't pay for, and like, it's going to go in a customer car. Like, I don't need it. Sam.
Another ball.
We're going for it. This is awesome. So, no, honestly, Jay does crazy stuff. He does his own hydro dips. He does his own etching, obviously, acrylic work, all that stuff. So, that's one thing that I trip out on with lighting guys. They're some talented bastards. 3D printing, programming, like, such smart dudes. It trips me out. I watch when I see people that are excelling in other industries, like real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's some amazing, super talented, super smart real estate agents. There's also a bunch of boneheads, and they're just crushing it, making tons of money being a bonehead. And I know all these amazing people that are like good, awesome people, just going after it, doing their absolute best work ever, making no money. I'm just like, ugh. Makes me sad for the world.
QQ.
There we go. Check that out. Yeah, boy. Some
Honeycomb.
etched honeycomb lenses. That is too cool. We're not even doing demonized on this build either. So, I've got cool stuff. And that's it. Now I gotta make a YouTube video. That'll be good stuff. Sending power directly from the strobe controller to the product itself. I'm gonna send that power into a relay to trigger it. All it's gonna do now is send a full shot of voltage directly from the battery or from whatever, you know, on the car, right to the LED product. And instead of it being a much lower light output like this is, it's gonna give it the full 12-volt shot of power that it needs to be really bright. So I'm gonna hook up these relays and we're gonna compare side by side what they look like. What happened, pal? Really quick, this is the most unnecessary of all the rooms in the shop because it has green walls that say Fly Ride, which does nothing for anybody, but it makes me feel good. And so do those shirts hanging up, but nobody buys them. But I just feel good. Like, it looks like I sell stuff, but I don't. These are dope lanyards. George, you should take one. That'd be dope.
I'll take a shirt.
Yeah, absolutely, you should. So I have a bench on wheels. This is actually, a lot of times I use this in the workshop, but when I have a car here, it doesn't fit because I only have one space for a car, and this is where that lives, right? So I'll show you the workshop though. Ovens, butyl machine, all that fancy stuff. And there is an internet famous kid's Evo 10 in here right now. So I like to have cool stuff in the shop, like lights for all my YouTube videos, into that. So little things like that matter a lot to me. Even though you can't see anything as you're working in this kind of lighting, it's usually just for the background. It's for the picture. It's for the gram. I don't know.
Sets the tone, sets the mood.
Yeah, you know, it kind of makes people think I know what I'm doing. But this workshop is semi-functional right now. It's not super big, but I'm able to do everything that I need to do. All of this stuff is huge for me because if you have any kind of a custom workshop and you have tons of little tiny components and things, you lose them, you misplace them all the time. And these things are $1 per bin. They're shoe boxes that you can get from Home Depot for $1. I recommend anybody with a shop, anybody that has to organize anything, buy 20 of these, start that way. Best 20 bucks you ever spent. You'll feel good about yourself when you look on the shelf and you're like, wow, look how organized I am. They're completely packed full of stuff that's not organized, but it makes me feel good. It's not on the bench. Everything's always pretty dirty in here and crazy because I actually work. Believe it or not, all the videos and all that stuff that I make, I actually do a lot of custom lights. So this is where I generally take things apart. I don't have like a fancy room. I just got a bunch of stuff in from the mail and we did unboxing time, which was great. But this is the scary butyl machine. It runs on 220. So I had to have all of that stuff wired up. I don't know what anything says because it's from the land of things that are in a different language. I don't know. And then this is a giant smoker that was tried to be turned into a powder coating oven, but that didn't work. So dude sold it to me for 150 bucks. And it turns out that these things cost $3 grand. So when people hit me up and they're like, hey, I want to get that. I'm like, no, you don't. That's a $3,000 smoker. And I just came up on it for 150 bucks. So, and he even turned it to be digital. So it's really just kind of a beater. I'll keep it forever though. I love it. And it's convection, so it moves air around and I could fit generally anything in there.
That's badass.
So I love this. That's what 3 years of leaving the house got me, was a cool oven. Other stuff. This room is kind of like inventory, and I've got some junk that I need to get rid of, like an old fridge and all that. But little things like all the Fly Ride LED bulb stuff that we ship out all the time. Just got tons and tons of all the different bulb sizes and all that there. I keep little things hung up. This is nothing to be proud of. I show you this with a certain amount of shame. I don't know why that's there, but it keeps them off the ground. And I always know where my tailor's turn modules are at. So there's that. I shoot a lot of stuff in here when I'm doing cool little beauty shots, like, I don't know, filming the difference between different headlights, showing all the different functions. And that photo cube is enormous, yet I actually think that that's the right size for lights, because you can't really shoot big lights in a little photo cube. So
No.
I think it's completely impractical, but I like it because I have the space for it here for now. And then I'll show you the cool room. This is probably the only room that I will miss about this place at some time in the future. It's just me in a nutshell. There's like Star Wars stuff and I don't know, like anime things and all my weird Transformer toys and things like that. The little signs, the weapons. Like, nobody needs this. I don't think this is necessary. But like, that's a pretty cool, big, giant, heavy ass sword.
Conan.
And I like it. And it makes me feel good. But it's not necessary. I do have an RGB fish from the shores of Mexico, which is my mascot that's gone with me everywhere. So he's doing his thing. And that's it. So that's the shop. It's where I make a lot of the YouTube videos, but I'd rather make the YouTube videos from the comfort of my couch with the fireplace going, and yeah, especially with the Christmas tree right now. It's dope. This is called Mayhem. This is the rug that you hide things under. So for years, George hasn't even seen this yet, all of this stuff was brought with me everywhere. And I'm at the point in life where I want to own none of this. I don't want any of it. I've got projectors from millions of GTR jobs and all sorts of old things, wire glands and projectors and wires from different projects. Everything you can imagine. Most of this, 95% of this is my stuff. And I don't want to have it anymore. So I'm literally selling everything. I want it all gone.
All right, well, I'll take this.
Right? That's actually, it's funny because you have things like this. This is actually Dustin Williams' old tail light that I was like, cool, I'll just build you some custom lights and then take the ones off of your car and then I'll use that for another customer. Except the ones that came off my internet famous dude's car were all jacked up. I can't use this for anybody. So, but it's cool to use for like the internals.
Yeah.
But, you never know what you sign up for. So that's it. I mean, there's a million different things in here. Other room is same exact thing. It's just a bunch of computer storage and old like collectible toy stuff that I've kept for years and years. But like, I don't know. This shop has a whole lot of stuff in it and a whole lot of space, and then I don't really use most of it. So I don't know. I think what I've learned is probably the area that I need to spend the most time in is in that chair sitting in front of the laptop, which doesn't have to be in a fancy office with color changing lights. And I spend the majority of my other time right there at the soldering station. So I think in short time, we're gonna see a new version of what all this stuff looks like, completely consolidated down, like lean and mean. And I'm excited about that. So as long as I got my butyl machine, my oven, solder station, and that laptop and somewhere to work on it, I should be good to go. That's it.
All right, well, thanks for showing us, Chris.
Yeah, you're welcome for coming and hanging out at Fly Ride.
So that's it. That's all of Fly Ride. It was a great visit. I enjoyed it. He's very hospitable, pretty cool guy. Legit awesome guy all around. Not fake at all. But that's it. I'm gonna head home now and get to editing the video. So next video I'll be doing will be at Lightworks. Gonna be visiting them in March. So keep an eye out for that video, and we'll go from there. Peace out.